Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Nikki Zick, and today we're going to be doing a mixed media postcard using water crayons by Sargent and watercolor paints to make this pretty poppy flower postcard. As you could see closely in the details, you could see the crayon lines, and in the flower the crayon lines. I put a blue sky with watercolor to give this a whole complete feeling. So let's get busy and start doing it. I'll use my evil eye and my relaxed rock to prop up my painting. I sketched very lightly in pencil the positions of my two flowers because they're so exact and we're not doing a cluster of flowers. So just a rough outline of where you want your flowers to be. So we're going to start off with the large flower, get a medium to small size round brush, and we're going to go into our paint. We're not going to spray our paints. We're just going to do one pen and use a wet brush and make our paint very watery and thin, and fill the flower with the paint. Leave the center open so we can add the yellow and black. And we're just going to go around, and you could puddle your paint, but not too much. A little more paint to complete this flower. Go over your pencil lines. Okay. I already pre-selected my crayons to save time. So now here's the red crayon. I'm going to go around the edge and make a ruffled edge like how the poppy flowers look like. And then I'm going to take the point of the crayon and go in with lines to the center of the flower, all on the red wet paint, and you could feel it glide, and you're painting with the crayon. It's a really incredible feeling, and it's something unique and different. I suggest you give it a try. Okay, now that flower is finished. We'll wait to do the center after it's dry, so we'll come down here and we'll do the other poppy that's facing downward. A little too much water. Cover your pencil lines. Okay. Maybe a little more paint. Okay. Now we have our crayon again. We'll start with the ruffled edge like I did the first. Come back. And then we're going to do lines from the edge going back to the stem. Okay, now that's our two flowers. We could put our yellow center in here to hold the place, but I'm not going to put the black crayon yet because the red I know is definitely still wet. Now we're going to go into our stems, and for our stems I did not use any watercolor. I just used pure crayons. I have two colors. One is yellow green, the other is grass green. So first we'll go in with the yellow green since it's lighter. Do your stem. You can go down twice to make it a heavier mark and more pigment on the paper. And then we're going to come over with little round buds that poppy flowers have hanging from their stems as opposed to leaves. The buds grow. So I have drawn where I want my buds. And then also I'm going to draw some sprigs of grass with the crayon. My lines are getting wider, which I like. Okay, now we're going to use the darker green called grass green and go over our same lines. So we have two colors intermingling together when we add our wet water. Clean brush, wet water. Okay, we'll do some more grass going in between where we put our yellow green. Okay, now we're going to use our medium brush again in the wet clean water, and we'll go down with the stem first. A little more water, go down with the stem on the right. Then we'll do the blossom bud and fill it in. More clean water, this bud, and then the stem that brings it together. I think I have enough water on my brush to do that one. Now we'll use some water and brush the grass at the bottom upward. You can go over the lines several times if you want more intensity of the color. And also you can add more green after this has dried. And if you want, you could do some green while it's wet, like we did the flowers. I'll use some yellow green. So not only did we do it dry on dry, but now we're doing it wet on dry. Wet on wet. Okay, there we go with our green grass. And now I should say, hopefully it's safe to say that my red is dry. And I'm going around the yellow center with my black crayon. Only do that if you're certain your red is completely dry, otherwise you'd have a big black mush in the center of your red flower. So right now I dab my brush, it's wet, very slightly with water, and I'm going to go around and tap the black with the wet paintbrush. And I'm just doing a tapping motion and letting it go into the red very delicately. Bring your black close to the yellow, and that'll bleed in together. And that's the center of our flower, of our poppy. Now we're going to do a light sky wash. Put my crayons out of the way. We're going to do a light sky, and I really love the way this one came out, and it was a wet on wet technique. So we're going to wet the paper, make it quite saturated. Go around your flowers very gently and delicately, because the water will pull the color from the flowers. So I used a light blue from my watercolor, and I just here and there put some paint to create a sky and clouds. A little more paint as you come down to get into the flowers. Bring your blue, come up here, add more blue to the top. It's really a misty sky. You could touch your flower gently, but like I said, if you go too close, the color will bleed, and then your art will be ruined. Or you could try to save it, but it's quite hard to save after you do that. The paper will be all wet, and let's not even talk about that, because we're not letting it happen. We're going to be just very delicate around the flowers. Now we'll come down with some water here. Clean water. See, there's a little pink on my brush. Go into our light blue. Clean the brush a little. Come down. Dab some blue here. And come down. And go around the edge of the flowers. Around the leaves. And the buds. Bring it down to the grass. I think a little bit more blue sky up here. And I think we're almost done with this card. You could wash your green a little more into the background. And there you have it. Our poppy postcard done with watercolor crayons and watercolor paints. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.